Welcome, everyone. You're listening to New House Knows, where you go when you need to know. Your hosts today are
Rob Platt, a.k.a. Professor Newhouse, with my faithful sidekick.
Aaron Michelle, also known as Ralph.
And John the Builder.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun Dun.
Dun, dun. We keep saying we're going to do this week after week.
I will sit down and find a sting for John.
By the time we do it, we need an orchestra. But still, I'm just saying.
You know what? Next time we record, I'll bring in the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra, and they'll be right there, and you'll say your name, and they'll just na 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 na.
And have Metallica with them.
Okay, done.
Nice.
All right, so it needs a symphony and Metallica mix. Got it.
There we go.
There we go.
All right. So, what are we tackling today?
Well, we're kind of picking up where we left off because we identified some things last go round. We were talking about the fact that millennials are now the largest buying group in America, yet they are 20% lower in home ownership than they should be than the previous generations, Gen X and boomers, us. Even though we're dying, we're still stronger, which is unfortunate. That boomers are trapped in their homes, and that there is no product for millennials. So we have a severely pent-up housing need and no product. But we also identified the fact that the economy really is strong. It's not bullshit. It's not government throwing fluffy numbers at you. Something between the economy and you is what the problem is, and that's where we're going to get now. The gross domestic product, what America makes, is strong, it's solid, it's where it was supposed to be if COVID had never occurred. So that shows that the stimulus package was a brilliant success. So, what the hell does that mean? Really? Aaron, you've pointed out clearly that we're not getting the inquiries we were getting.
Nope.
People are coming in. Those that get quotes are taking, Lord have mercy, we were used to them, smoking them over for a few days. Now they're taking weeks to a month.
Sometimes multiple months.
Yeah, sometimes multiple months if they take it. And these are folks with the means to do what they're going to do. It's really.
Well, we say that they have the means to do what they're going to do, but that's really the larger discussion is
it worth it?
Now they're not sure that they have the means to do it because an addition that used to cost $250,000 now costs $350,000 to $400,000.
Yep.
So when it used to very comfortably be within their means to do it, now maybe not so much.
Because in previous episodes, and we can only speak to the greater Atlanta metro, but it's symptomatic all over the nation, we have seen a 60% increase in building costs. Is that about accurate, John, what we came up with?
Yep.
From 2019 to now.
Yes.
So, and that number, you're dodging that bullet all the time.
Oh, yeah. But the funny thing is, according to the market, lumber's right where it was in 2019.
Isn't that wild?
It's weird.
In 2019. So lumber really didn't jump up at all. So even though these numbers have been rising, the GDP has gone up and costs have gone up, lumber's back settled into a pretty good place, as if we've gone through a time warp.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember in 19 what it was. It was in the 500 range. We're right back there. Now, we did go up to 15, 51, or whatever the peak, but still, we're not there.
No, not even close.
Yeah, we dropped 2/3 of that. So,
kind of amazing. So, anyhow, that being said, we were talking about the fact, and this is great because Aaron Michelle, again, put on her nerd hat, did a little research.
I stopped paying attention and went down a rabbit trail.
Yeah, she did.
Sorry.
You can tell she's really into the show, right? So
I am. This is how I show my interest.
At any rate, she dove into the fact that we were talking about private equity basically hammering the crap out of Atlanta. Zach, you and Aaron can kind of cover this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I wanted to know. I mean, we mentioned it, you kind of mentioned it sort of offhand in the last episode about private equity and how many homes that they own and how it's really affecting the market. And so it just, pinged that little itchy spot in my brain that I had to scratch that said, well, how many do they actually own? Like, am I inflating this in my brain? And maybe they don't own that many. I'm not. So what I found is that it actually comes down to 3 companies that own the vast majority of rental homes here in Atlanta. And they own 19,000 homes, which is nearly 11% of
11%.
single-family rental homes.
That's single-family detached homes, not even apartments.
Yeah, this is not counting apartments at all. This is single-family detached homes in the rental market.
Now, Zach, historically, when you guys are looking at a market, what percentage of rentals in a neighborhood starts really screwing with property values?
5%.
5%. So would you say that 11% is a problem?
Seems like it might be a little more than double that number.
Yeah.
I'm not good at math. I have a musical theater degree. But I think I know that 11 is a little more than 5.
See, 2 plus 2 is 5.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
where we're at. That's
Yeah.
where we're at.
But see, that's one of the biggest issues is that, and that comes from the bidding wars that we had. I love being able to say that because it makes me feel like I'm in Star Wars saying, I was in the Clone Wars. No, but back in the bidding wars, we would have, 18 offers come in on a home.
Yeah.
But
And always you would have at least of those, half of those, if not more, were investors and these private equity people coming in offering cash just right out the gate.
well, and that's what I was going to say. You're talking about this in past tense. It's not past tense. So this article that I'm reading right now in front of me, it's saying that, Wall Street and these private equity investors account for more than a third of the recent single-family home purchases in the metro Atlanta area. And it's because they are beating out other buyers with cash offers. Mm-hmm. So even though it may feel like it's not as intense a bidding war as it was back at the height of the pandemic, it's still happening.
Oh, it's no longer a bidding war, though. Because the bidding wars aren't happening.
No, they're just coming in and crushing people.
Because there's no one, no one's able to compete with them.
Do you have any idea, and I'm asking honestly, is a former realtor, what is the formula? They've got to have a stopgap somewhere. What do you think, John? I mean, there's got to be a place they say, we can't put that much money into that property, but they don't seem to.
So it depends. So you have your private people, the people who've watched those TV shows and are like, oh, I can flip this and make this $1 million. They don't do their homework and they'll just throw money at you. La 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 la. Then you have the companies, and what they do is they'll come in and say, I will offer you $400,000 for this home. All right, knowing it's more closer to like a 320.
Yeah.
Well, you take it. You accept that offer. They come in. They start looking at all the work that needs going on, and then they'll bump that price down. And they'll continuously bump that price down based off of the stuff they need, getting it closer to a profit margin that's acceptable for them, knowing that they're going to be able to fix it up and then sell it off for a higher price automatically. But they already got you synced in because they're like, well, you've accepted our $400K offer. You've already got an offer in on that home. If you back it out of ours, you're going to have to back out of the home you've already won. And it creates this domino effect where if one person backs out, it messes up the entire chain. And no one wants to cause that backup and that back out. So it's one of those they'll come in and just throw money at the problem because they can. And then end up being able to pay you less because they can.
Part of that, I mean, it seems to me, because, I've said God's not making any more dirt inside the perimeter. And for those of you that don't know, Atlanta has a beltway around it like Washington. And if you live inside, things are more convenient. It's easier to get around. It's easier to get places. If you live close outside, it's easier to get around. A little further than that, you're in a 2-hour daily commute.
It's more like Mad Max out
Yeah,
there.
it really is. It's pretty wild out there. So because there's limited property in and near the perimeter, they know they can just force the increase. They can sit on the property how long do you think? Some of these guys, well, Aaron, you're renting a house from a corporate group.
Yes, and I was going to say that's a different perspective. So Zach is talking about the corporate people that are looking to flip the house and resell it. The group that is holding my house, and I'm probably exaggerating that, but they're holding a good chunk of homes on my street. I live on a dead-end street. They've got a good chunk of homes on our street. They're just holding them because of some magical phase 3 that I can't find anywhere. I don't know exactly what it entails, but I'm pretty sure that they are going to bulldoze all of these houses, and they think that they're going to put up some development there. So for them, they don't really give two poops about the house. They don't care about the quality of the house. They don't care about repairs. They don't care about any of that crap. Right now, they just want us renters in there because
you're offsetting their cost to carry.
Exactly. We're offsetting their carry cost. And then they think that they're going to make a fortune when they bulldoze it and mine it for something else.
Well, that goes to the whole phrase of marry the house and date the rate, which, you know, I mean, it's a common phrase among realtors for whenever people are like, I'm just going to wait for the rates to go down. Well, if you wait for the rates to go down, you're going to be waiting forever. So you're supposed to buy the house, and then when the rates do go down, or as it goes down, you can refinance. It's not a bad. I mean, it is. I mean, it is what it is.
I did that once and it worked.
Yeah, and I mean, it's okay. That it's a good system to live by because you never know what the rates are going to go with. The problem is that because all these corporations swooped in and bought everything, you're not going to be able to buy a house that you can afford to then be able to wait to refinance.
Yeah.
They've taken away that step in between, that important step in between of being able to even buy the house.
Yeah. Well, because they artificially increased all of the property values.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and when we look at interest rates, and this is something that's been ticking me off, we talked about in the last show, I think we might have talked about it a little bit here, but you know, the economy is stable. The gross domestic product is in solid shape. We are where we should have been if COVID had not occurred. Yet the Fed is focused on this 2% inflation measure and a perfectly healthy economy. And there are people that are standing up now saying, you need to adjust that. This is a new day. You need to kick it up to 3 points, start lowering interest rates, and let, for example, your generation, who obviously is screaming for product, to start buying. And we've got to get the interest rates down.
And it's just come out recently that they're not looking at lowering interest rates again. They won't even look at it again until like November.
Oh, personally, I think Powell's a lunatic. I just can't believe
they recently. I think they met sometime in the past 2-3 weeks.
Yeah,
and they said
the deal was they were supposed to drop, and nope.
And they said we're going to sustain. We'll look at it again in November at the earliest.
Because he's trying to hold to this 2% number in an economy that is perfectly healthy. Mm-hmm. I personally believe what he's doing with the interest rates is just exacerbating the hell out of your problem. And I say you, millennials, the two of you, as a generation, I mean, we're getting smacked, but you guys have an entry-level need that must be met.
Well, also completely unrelated, but I just, instead of screaming this into a void, I'm going to scream it into a microphone. Over the past 4 years, when, you know, they're claiming that it's inflation that's raising all of these costs, and they're claiming that inflation has been, you know, 6% or 8% year over year. Why is it that inflation-based raises are still only at 2%?
Yeah.
Our salaries are not keeping up.
Yeah.
So,
actually, but we have seen, and I don't mean to be contrary, but in my research, we were seeing America has had consistent payroll increase. The overall payroll in America has increased significantly, even through COVID. Your buying power is still fried.
That's what I'm saying. Just because it's increased, that's like saying, oh well, we gave the drowning man 2 cups of water, the the man that's been out in the desert 2 cups of water, so he's doing better because he had 2 cups of water. Like, great. Our overall, salaries as a nation have gone up. They haven't gone up enough.
Well, and I don't disagree.
Like, I still, my husband and I are going through our budget and seeing where we can slash and what we can slash, because we can barely get groceries in the house right now.
Yep.
Like, that shouldn't be a problem. And a year and a half ago, it wasn't a problem.
I watched our savings diminish to zilch over the last year. I mean, it's been terrible. It's been a terrible situation. And so the question arises again, if the economy is so solid, and if wages have increased, what the hell is going on? Somebody is holding us hostage. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I don't think it's conspiracy. Look at the math, look at the articles, look at what people are I think private equity is unchecked, and it is keeping pace with any gains that you can make.
It's private equity, and it's also just big corporations. There as many articles that you read about people that are having a hard time buying groceries and paying electric bills and buying new cars and all of the things that keep our economy running smoothly on the day-to-day. The next article that you can read also says X company has gotten record profits this year. Y company has gotten record profits this year. Oh, Z company just laid off 200 people and they've gotten record profits this year.
Yeah.
How is it that you're having such a hard time that you have to lay off 200 people, yet you're making record profits?
Right now, they say that your generation, when polled, on the average, you guys believe that your jobs are in jeopardy within the next 12 months.
Yeah.
All of you.
Since 2011.
Yeah.
I have worked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I worked at 5 different places. One of them as a realtor, so 4-ish different places. And I swear, every single month, I go, they may get rid of me.
And yet, unemployment is at 3.7, 3.8%. So, I mean, when all the indicators say we're stable, what the hell does that mean?
It actually went to 3.9 this week.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. And that's why the stock market was so happy. They were like, well, hot damn. Now they're going to lower rates. No, they're not. No, they're not. I mean, it's just like you're propping up something that you don't need to be propping up. But that's why the market's going crazy right now. It jumped, gosh, I don't know, 3%, whatever the heck it was over the last week and a half. It's foolish. Why are you jumping? Why are you so excited? But the reason is, get back to one of the things you said about the profit margins going up. Well, yeah. If I lay off 100, 200 people, you're damn right, mine's going up.
But where's it going?
Yeah.
It's lining the pockets of the higher ups.
Well, because they had a record year, so the higher ups get a bonus based off of that. So
I just had an epiphany. Show's over. John, it's your fault.
John.
Everybody look at John. It's John's fault.
I knew it. Careful. That will be the next thought.
No, it's, and on our side, keeping a business, keeping the damn doors open. Oh, my God.
It's a fight.
It's been hard as
It's
shit
a
for the
nightmare.
last year and a half.
It is a freaking battle.
It is.
And people just think you're just getting wealthy.
Oh, yeah.
We're making money hand over fist. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Let me go public and please support me. Then we'll talk. Right now I'm private. No. That's not how that works. Jeez.
He speaks.
Sorry.
It's all good, man. You got to get it out. Well, it just drives you crazy. Keeping the doors open is a huge problem. And the fact of the matter is, if we increase salaries, profits, you can lose some profit, but you got to have profit. So question number one, going back to a model that worked for decades, centuries even, what is a fair profit? I think that's the first thing that we've got to look at. What the hell is a fair profit? If in our business, John, and you know this, how many builders say, you look at them, you say, man, you gouge people. And they go, yeah, well, we got to cover for the lean times. Well, if you kept your prices reasonable and your profit reasonable, there'd be more work, there'd be fewer lean times, possibly none.
Yeah.
I mean, is that kind of logical?
Well, mine's low anyway compared to what everybody tells me. They tell me I'm crazy for my percentage.
Well, that's why we talked to you. You're reasonable. You have a very fair percentage.
Well, and moreover, it's not necessarily what's a reasonable profit. I mean, that is a worthwhile conversation. But when you look at a company like ours, a locally owned company, nobody's really making hand over fist.
No.
However, when you start looking at big corporations, we need to look at the whole strata of salaries. Salaries of CEOs over the last 20 years have increased 1,200%. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. And that's the truth. And the question is for what?
Yeah,
You
why
did really
is...
well. You were saying F and then
I know.
Yeah.
And then bam.
Yeah.
But-
Don't worry, I got the goose honk ready.
But that one matters because why are we paying CEOs $3 million a year? Why?
I'm with you. I wish corporate would do what Sam Walton did with all of his people. To me, that was the best structure he could have ever done. He didn't pay them those stupid salaries. He didn't do it. And I love it. I wish everybody would do that, but they don't. Sad thing is, I don't know what Walmart does now, but
I don't know what his kids
I
want
know what
to
it was
do.
back
But,
in the day.
we look at another model, Ben and Jerry's Ice Cream.
Those guys are great.
CEOs didn't get a raise unless everybody got a raise. When they got a raise, the whole company got a raise. Everybody went up together. And they said their turnover was squat. They just people did not quit Ben and Jerry's. Nobody quit, ever. Not to mention who quit an ice cream company, but still. and the things they did that were so innovative, one of the huge byproducts is just fat, just tons of fat that come out of the, making the ice cream. They found out that this nasty stuff, hogs loved it. So they went to their city and they worked with the homeless and they set up these hog farms that were profitable and taught homeless people how to run them and gave them jobs. Next thing you know, they've got people running these farms now. They got a place to put their waste that serves another company. Point is, they were thinking.
Yeah.
They're thinking. They weren't just looking at profit. They were looking at themselves as a part of an economic ecosystem. And I think we've just it's the Wild West. We don't have an economic ecosystem. We've got a whole bunch of Wild Bill Hickoks out there, shooting guns and running around in circles.
Well, it's super lopsided.
Super lopsided.
Yeah, that's what's screwing up the average. Because we hear this average is this.
Yeah, I love those.
Hell. Well, they're the ones who messed it up. Because, if I make $10 million a year, it gets factored in. It gets factored into that average.
Oh, I was watching 60 Minutes did a beautiful special on the guys buying in Atlanta. They actually interviewed one of the three companies. This guy was amazing. I have never seen a spin doctor that could move so fast on his feet like this guy could. And they were hitting him with hard questions. They were not softballs. They were in his face. And without flinching, he would just twist it and come back with, yeah, but no, not really. He never answered a question. They know exactly what they're doing. And the problem is, and we're talking about this now, we're identifying the fact the economy is healthy, supply chains are healthy, wholesale costs are healthy, unemployment is low, the GDP is a rock. We know that private equity and large corporations are milking the system badly. There is not sufficient regulation to keep them from doing this. And getting back to a question you had, Zach, everybody's talking about the bubble bursting. That's why the bubble's going to burst. Is it predictable? Yeah, in a manner. It is not sustainable. There's going to come a place, and I think it's very close, that you can't push millennials any further. there's going to come a place where my generation can't deal with rapidly rising values that are taxing the hell out of us in our retirement. We can't do it anymore. Somebody's going to cry uncle. People are going to scream. And part of what I hope we encourage in this show is vote. Vote, vote, vote. And part of voting is, for Christ's sake, pay attention. Get to know what's going on in your world. Quit letting people tell you who you need to vote for. And I'm sorry, voting for a person, and this is me, voting for a person who was a billionaire, then he wasn't a billionaire, now I don't even know he was a millionaire. He's gone bankrupt 5, 6, 7 times. He's wrecked God knows how many companies. But this is who we're going to vote for.
He wrote a book on how to be a good businessman.
Yeah.
Actually, he didn't even write that. He had someone ghostwrite that.
I mean, of course he did.
But this is but Americans.
So he didn't technically even write that.
If you are uninformed enough, if you are lazy enough, you just let people tell you what to think when the facts are right in front of you. Google is great. We didn't have to look very far for any of this stuff. Really don't. Really good sources. For Christ's sake, pay attention. Because as much as we value about it, we can tell you what we see every week through our business, and we're nervous because, like Aaron said, keeping the doors open for the last year and a half has been a miracle, and we're constantly doing the old Texas two-step trying to figure out how next week's going to happen, and it shouldn't be that way. There's a shortage of us. There's a pent-up need for housing. There's a shortage of us. There's a shortage of builders. We should be in a boom right now. We should be hiring people like there's no tomorrow. What is the problem? That's the million-dollar question.
Well, I have something I want to share with you guys because I think it helps summarize kind of what we're talking about.
We do this
really
to
well.
Make Zach feel better about himself.
I know. Zach's Corner. No. But it's an article from the LA Times, and it's about Arizona tea, the 99-cent canned teas, and how they haven't changed their price in 30 years.
Nope.
That sweet tea has been 99 cents for 30 years. And he's quoted in this article saying, I've committed to that 99-cent price. When things go against you, you tighten your belt. I don't want to do what the bread guys and the gas guys and everybody else are doing. Consumers don't need another price increase from a guy like me. Now, he co-owns it with his 2 sons. And Forbes puts them at their combined net worth at over $4 billion. All from Arizona, placing them among the 1,000 richest people in the world. Now, on the one hand, that's great. These people are very much because he goes on to say, when you increase the prices, when you're going through a crunch, your consumers are going through the crunch as well. Why put that pressure on them just as much as it puts on me? Tighten a little, you'll be fine. Now, going a little further into the article, it says they sell about 1 billion 99-cent cans each year, which makes up for 25% of their revenue. The rest are from energy drinks, fruit drinks, bottled tea, snacks, hard seltzer, and other offerings which may move less volume but have higher prices and higher margins. So it's one of those, his iced tea, 99 cents. He's kept it at that. That's great marketing for him.
Yeah.
But
so he's got a sacrificial lamb that makes him look like a hero. And just don't look over here at the stuff.
At the other stuff that's mentioned in one line, because it makes up 25%. That is not.
Yeah.
Well, that's similar to, what our city is doing right now, where, they did their studies on affordable housing and they realized that the housing has gotten unaffordable in our city and blah, blah, blah. So now we've made a committee to go over it. They're not actually going to help anybody.
No.
And in addition to that, we are watching this new development at the corner, diagonal from our office building go up, that I know when it's done and when it's ready, it's going to be astronomically expensive. And no one's going to be able to afford it.
Ooh, I got one. So the committee.
Yeah.
Are they doing it for free?
No.
Probably not.
Oh,
Somebody's winning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I love
Just
the
them.
committee. And, years ago, I worked with HUD. I worked with 2 regional directors of HUD. Trust me, that's way up there. There's only 5 in the country at any given moment. Regional directors were basically pointing out to me back in the day the fact that they had plenty of money, that you couldn't run HUD out of money, but there was no product. And that was in the 1990s. That was 94, 95.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's changed.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's changed. Then they proceeded to tell me back then that they spent $5 million on a study, wait for it, to prove that people that own their property take better care of it than renters. They could have done that with me for about $250. This is not rocket science.
Mm-hmm.
We blew $5 million. So I would love to know what the study was that showed them that there is nowhere to go in our fair little town and find anything that's affordable.
Yeah.
I wonder what they paid for that. When all you got to do is, I love it, Google it, look at any magazine.
Just pull up Zillow.
Yeah, just pull up Zillow. Anything. It doesn't matter. Why do we need studies to say, damn, there's no houses? And then what is a committee going to say? What are we going to do?
Damn, there's no houses. That's what they're going to say. They're going to be
and
right.
what is the plan for generating new houses? Well, yeah, that silence we just heard, that's what's going on over there. It's silent. There is nothing. I told you guys, I started in my career 44 years ago. Yes, I'm old. In the entry-level market. I designed entry-level market homes. I made a decent living, raised a couple of kids, and we were designing little homes specifically for, at the time, your generation to step into. Little 3-bedroom, 2-bath, cute as a button, well-built, simple floor plans, nice little lots, not postage stamps. Back in the day, we were working on 80 by 120 lots. That was our thing. Nice little starter homes, and he did entire communities of them, so they maintained, their quality throughout. Nobody's doing that because there's no, quote, money in it. You can't see into little air bunnies. I'm doing air quotes. There's no money in it. What do you mean there's no money in it?
What's absolutely worse than that is that the starter homes that exist in the market, existing homes, 2-bedroom, 1-bath homes, 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes, those are starter homes, are not at a starter home price.
Well, no, they can't be.
They're homes that are 40 years old, and they're astronomically priced.
But it's getting back down to, they're basically dirt with a building on it.
Yep.
And the dirt is the value and the building's not, even though, Zach, that they're not supposed to be that way.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we're going to end it there for today. Yep. So thank you guys for listening. You've been listening to New House Knows, where you go when you need to know.
But